Hello and welcome back to Drawing a Day with JesseJ. I'm your host, JesseJ, and today, just like the last episode, we're going to be doing something very similar. We're going to be using Sharpie marker and a Prisma marker, and we're going to go through and just kind of do a freeform drawing, and I'll kind of talk my way through the process. There's a fish here too. And then let's get started. Thank you for coming back and watching, and hope you enjoyed the first episode. Here's the second episode. Let's get started. So just like the last time, we're gonna start with a couple of eyes. Actually, I think last time we started with one eye and then we let one eye develop, but this time we're gonna do two eyes right off the bat. Maybe this first character, or whatever this character is just looking straight at us. So let's see. Same kind of thing. Let's kind of make the nooks here where the eyes kind of sit right on the bridge of that nose. Since we're doing both eyes at the same time, we can kind of do both of these ridges at the same time. Let's kind of bring them down a little bit farther and a little bit farther, just like that. Look at that. We already have the structure of the inside of the face. Maybe we'll kind of cut this in a little bit too. Maybe like the nose kind of like hooks like right in like here. And hooks over here. Kind of get that edge going. There we go. Doesn't look like anything yet. But let's go back to these eyes. Kind of add those kind of free-form shapes right around one eye, right around our second eye. Oh, it's starting to give it a little bit more character. It's got some sort of like maybe skull or kind of like spawn thing going on here. I'm gonna add a pupil, and then we'll leave that little room for the little shine in it. Let's do the same thing again, and then just like we did last time, we always want to kind of add those little edges in there because the eyes just kind of like sit back in the face, right? Last time I know we did like a bunch of these kind of shapes like on the ridges of the eyes, but let's just put two up here this time. Let's try and be different, a little bit different each time, right? Kind of connect this. Now we have an interesting kind of shape, and because of this line, it just immediately makes me kind of think of like maybe doing some sort of like form that comes up out of it. So maybe, just maybe, look at that. We got some sort of weird like pyramid or some sort of like structure that's just kind of like jutting out from in between the eyes now. And it's kind of like wonky and kind of weird, but maybe we can ground it with some more. Hey, look at that. Now we got like a whole stack of things happening over here. Maybe we add another little one on top. Let it go like a little bit wider and then get thinner again. And of course, it wouldn't be one of my drawings without some nice dots. So get a few dots in there. And hey, a nice little shape blossomed on top of it. So you see, just build some shapes and, you know, now it's like, okay, what the heck's going on with this thing? What the heck's going on down here? You know, do we want to make this into a nose? Do we want to make this into teeth or a mouth? It kind of looks like it could kind of go any way, but I do see this little like edge right here, and have fun with it. I'm just going to extend that edge back and then kind of swoop it in, connect it underneath that eye. Where these things connect, maybe I want to add a little bit of shadow, kind of emphasize that eye pocket. Look at that. Look at that nice eye pocket. Alrighty. Is that the edge of the head? I guess we're going to find out. Let's see. Alrighty. Well, I want to add some shapes on that shape. It's all just shapes on shapes, just in general. But let's see. Let me add a little square up here. I want to keep like kind of building something, you know, like maybe work towards the edge of a head of some kind. But right now, like, we're just kind of like drawing shapes. I love to do like shapes that just become larger versions of themselves. Kind of get this like cool trailing effect and everything. But you know, they just kind of like build on themselves. It all just like draws itself, right? Now, there's something interesting happening here. Now we have this kind of like cut here. But what I'm starting to see is maybe if we kind of like ground this out, so this becomes its own form, and we kind of extend that corner line back, kind of darken this a little bit. Now, this is like a really nice like kind of enclosed shape, but it also encloses this space. So I think in this space, I think I'm going to add another eye and kind of see what that does. Not a lot by itself, not yet. But let's see. Maybe if we add a second eye. Okay. Maybe a couple pupils in there, just little dots, since these ones are so small in comparison. Alright, and now look, it's starting to draw itself again. I want to connect right near that brow line, use a nice organic line, and then we'll connect it back over here to this shape. You don't want it to be lined up exactly, but I want it to kind of look like it's sitting behind it a little bit, so we're going to kind of put that line midway through. And look, we got this nice little kind of bumpy guy, so let's give him some other bumps up there. Maybe a couple bumps in between and inside. And then let's kind of ridge out where his eyes connect. We want everything to be kind of grounded, right? Alright, let's go right here. And look, we just extend that line down, and now he's got a bridge of the nose. Kind of bring that in like that. Look, edge of the eye. And let's kind of darken this area, just like that. So I don't have a timer this time, and one, because my phone is basically completely dead, and second off, because I realized that I'm just drawing everything in live time, so if I'm talking to you guys and I'm drawing, you're going to be able to just look and see how long it's taking. And now it's taking longer because I'm just talking to you instead of actually drawing. So let me keep drawing. Alright, and now we got the edge here. I'm going to, on this cheek, do a couple little freckles. Maybe add the second part of that bridge. Look how nice this character's starting to go. Maybe a couple little dots up here too. Dots, freckles. Completely different. These are freckles. Those are just dots. Those are dots, freckles. Alright. I'm going to go in onto that edge. And look at that. Now we got like a little guy kind of hanging out up here. I want to kind of really add some emphasis and kind of add some more contrast. So we're going to kind of darken underneath like whatever edge I think he would have. So I feel like this is the edge. And then here's a little edge that's like hanging out maybe around these lips. So maybe I add a few little lines to define that these are this character's lips. And that's kind of cool. So now, whatever this guy is, he's got this guy sitting inside of his head. So maybe we want to extend this line on the side and extend this line on the bottom. Oh, uh-oh. Completely enclose this head now. So now we're kind of dedicated. Now this has to be the head shape, right? So I'm going to go in. I'm going to darken this edge a little bit. Kind of add a little bit of embellishment on that end. And now, let's see if we can make this into like a cool face. We already got this face up there, but now we need the face that this face is attached to. You know, shapes on shapes, faces on faces. And I'm going to embellish this edge a little bit. Very cool. Got a couple little scales. And then I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to bring it into this shape. So it's going to start there, and look at that. Now we have like a little edge here that just kind of like cuts into our face. I'm going to do it again, but with lines that don't complete the side, and that way it kind of looks like it gets maybe a little lighter as it gets deeper in there. You're gonna put one dot, just one dot, and then I'm gonna kind of add a couple lines in there to kind of show that maybe it's going behind whatever this shape is in front. And then here we're gonna do our cat's paw. Okay, look at that. Now we got a nice little set of nostrils. And we got this big face. What are we gonna do with this big face? Oh, well, I'm gonna bring this line over here. And then I'm gonna bring a line over here. And darken it. Why did I do that? I don't know. I was just feeling it. The same way that I'm feeling just putting in a couple X's over in this space to kind of fill it out. Look at that. It's developing very nicely. It's got some X's, it's got our dots, and now we even have a head of a character that has another smaller head attached to it, which is pretty fun. But what are we going to do next? Well, this thing doesn't really go anywhere, so maybe we keep adding with this. Like I said, if you get stuck in the drawing and you just see like a place to like kind of embellish it and kind of add like a little something, why not do it? While the larger ideas kind of percolate in your head, you can just fill the dead space with just making little shapes. Look at that. Now he's got this nice prominent tentacle. Where's it going? I don't know, but it's cool. It's very cool. So this is really nice. It feels a little like ungrounded. It feels good on this side, feels a little empty over here. Maybe we just kind of add something here. And I want it to be dark. I want it to really contrast so that this guy kind of jumps out at you. Now what is that now that we made? We just made a random shape, but look at how that dude's face just like, phew, just kind of pumps out, hops out at you. This little character here, they are popping. So let's see. Well, what is that? I don't know. Let's give it an edge. Now what is it? It's like some sort of weird solid shape. I feel like it could use a couple little lines right there. Kind of define what its surface area is, have it moving in the direction of the surface area of that shape. And now look at that, we got another little shape jutting out, we got this little tendril jumping out. What the heck is going on? We got this character up at the top, and we got this face. What are we gonna do with this face? Well, I feel like this face could use one more eye before we move on. Let's kind of fill this little space, and we'll have this eye. Look at that. This one's very basic eye. These eyes have the edges. Oh, we forgot our little edges in these eyes. Or at least that eye. That eye's a little too small for an edge. But this eye, I like it kind of like that. Very illustrated. Let's just leave it like that. We don't even need the edges for that one. But what it does need is a lower, darker line. Maybe it's wearing like a little bit of eyeshadow or something, or eyeliner. I don't know makeup. I think that will become very clear. I know nothing about makeup. Let's see. So if that is eyeliner or eyeshadow, maybe eyeshadow's on the top. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that I'm just kind of filling in some darkness over here. Letting these shapes kind of connect and then add some dark. It also brings more emphasis to those teeth, and we have these kind of like, you know, shapes are going this way, which feels really good. Everything's kind of like flowing that way. So maybe we should break it up a little bit. Maybe we should have some things flowing this way. I don't know. Let's kind of feel it out. But what did happen is now we got a couple teeth here. So if we have this character, we have a teeth. We have a teeth. I don't think we even need to do like a full mouth or anything. Maybe we just give him, you know, a couple dots. Look at that. Now he's got teeth, and he's got a little dotty mustache, which is sweet. And now, Now we've got a shoulder. And now, second shoulder. Alright, so what are we gonna do now? We have tendril, we have some shapes, we got a character, and now we got this character that has the start of a body at least. So let me see. I'm gonna give it a little arm crease and a little arm crease. Well, we could either make like a wider body, we could do like a thinner body. Let's kind of cut these in and see what that does. We cut that in and we cut that in. Oh, we kind of got these kind of like what are they called? Pectoral muscles, you know? If I could not like, you know, muscles instead of muscles for a second, that would be fantastic. But, you know, there's no going back. We're already this deep into this drawing. There's no getting rid of this video. We're committed. All right? So what it does need is a couple little nipples, though, on these pectorals. Now, you know they're pectorals. And then we do have like a collarbone kind of thing over here. You know, like we have it on ourselves. Let's kind of give our character that. And then I'm going to kind of darken under this thing's head. Not bad. Not bad. Kind of defines that a little bit more. Let's kind of have it connect to these collarbones here. So now our shadow goes and connects right into it, kind of grounds that head into our character a little bit better. Alright. Now, what are those? I don't think those are any part of the body in particular. I mean, they are shoulders, but we got these little ridges, and I'm going to connect these ridges the same way to my character like that. Now, I kind of like want to skip around a little bit. I'm going to add a couple shapes up here. I know I said it was like really grounded, but I also did want some things going this way, some things going this way. You know, make it a little bit more interesting. Let's add some dark to kind of separate where these pieces already like are disattached. Add some little line details too. No dots though. I'm not adding any dots to this shape for right now. Who knows? It might happen a little later. Sorry, fish. Alright. So now, these pectorals need a little bit of an edge on the side because the pectorals kind of like connect up into the arm sockets, into your armpits. Arm sockets is not the correct term. I'm not a scientist. I just like to draw things that are not scientifically accurate because it's fun. And now, extending down from the collar, we do have these sides. What are we going to do next? It's kind of moving a little bit slower now, so let's pick up the pace. Let's add some nice shadowing under there. Let's add some nice shadowing under here. Now those pecs are like, poof, just popping out. Alright, which is cool. You want these pieces of your drawings to be popping. Now we got these nice little ridges that kind of like encapsulate where like the, what are they, your abs and stuff like that. And we're gonna show that these are actually a very thin like section of abs and things by giving it a little belly button right at the bottom. Perfect. Now we got a whole stomach situation happening, which is awesome. I have a little bit of a stomach situation happening a lot of the time too, but you know, that just happens. Let's see. Oh no, not that kind of stomach situation. I got this kind of stomach situation. Nice and like wide at the bottom, you know. Alright. So let me see. I am going to add a little bit more there. Look at that. Oh, we closed off the arms though. I wasn't even thinking and just completely closed his arm. Now he's got just like little short arms, alright? Well, what we are gonna do is first, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna draw some edges. I'm gonna draw and embellish, you know, have a little bit of fun with it. And then let's kind of close in these nipples a little bit. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I like the way that that looks. Alright, so now I'm gonna turn those lines into a little bit more of an edge by thickening them out. That way it has now like a little bit of form. It shows that there's a little bit of shadow under there and things. And now let's try and like go around. And we're gonna add some edges to this belly. Hey, look at that. Full belly. Now it's all the way in. It's a little bit ruffled. There's a little bit of ruffling in that belly. What causes that ruffling though? When I started ruffling this particular stomach, I was envisioning a belt. It was already starting to draw itself in my head, because as soon as I cut this in and it was headed towards that belly button, I was like, well, these are going to be ruffles and there's going to be a belt ruffling this belly. Let's add it in now. It's going to kind of come right onto the edges here. Just a little bit. And then just like this, we have a belt. There's a belt buckle. There's our belt. I'm gonna add, it has like this little part where it goes through the hoops, right, and holds that belt together. I'm gonna even add the little dots in there. We're gonna get really fancy and really detailed and have the dots. Look at that. Actually, I think the dots are only supposed to be on that side, right? Or are they supposed to be on this side? Let's see, where is it coming through? If it's going like this, then that means the dots are on this side? Am I doing that right? Let's see. Dot, dot, dot. It would have to be dots on that side? I don't know. You know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Dots are gonna be on both sides, forget it. And then I'm gonna go and I am going to just color this in and make it nice and dark. We're gonna have a nice black belt here, not because he is good at karate, but because I like all the darkness going on up here. We gotta bring some of that down. And you know what? Now that we have a bunch of black in heavy areas here and heavy areas up there, it really encapsulates, like, look how bright that tummy is. But tummy does need some spots. Couple little dots. And you know what? A couple little freckles too. Yeah, right there. Freckles, dots, dots. Freckles, dots. Just so everybody's clear, okay? There is a distinguishment. They are two completely different entities and two different drawing techniques. Trust me. Don't be deceived. It takes years to know what a dot versus a freckle looks like. Alright, you guys. And now we got our belt. We got our character. We've got another character, but we're missing some stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but we're missing a few things. First thing that we're missing is some embellishment. Okay, we're gonna move over here. We're gonna add a couple little embellished sections on the side. They're beautiful. Alright, what else are we missing here? Oh yeah, that's right, some embellishment over here. And look at that, that's really nice. Oh yeah. Yeah. Arms, legs. That's right, we're gonna have something hanging off of this thing. Let's see, what is it gonna be? You know what it's gonna be? He's gonna have a key. He's gonna have a key to the city. He's gonna be an important person, just like I always wanted to be, you know, but this guy is actually doing it. It's so important that this key is glowing or making some sort of noise, you know, and it is hanging off his key rack, you know. He's just kind of hanging it right there. He's got a key. He's got the key to the city, and he's living it, you know. He's living the dream. Alright, so we're going to move on here. We're going to add a couple things there, so not quite moving on yet. Okay, now we're moving on. Now we're gonna do some important stuff. No, just kidding. How about a triangle right there? Okay, now we're gonna move on to something important. We're gonna add a couple arms. So I like to kind of have the arms kind of coming out of these, kind of like pieces, upper arm pieces. And we're going to add some shading there to show that they're kind of going into the pieces, right? Couple dots, couple, or just one dot over there. And there we go. So we're starting to build out of a shape, you know? Now I got these little pieces. They already look like they could just be bones, which is kind of cool, but I'm not going to just leave them as bones. I'm actually going to go and make even smaller shapes, and those smaller shapes are going to be inside these shapes. Or this smaller shape is, this one is going to automatically get a bigger shape, because it's already a pretty small shape. So let's see. Let's build this one up the same way that we built this section up, same way that we just kind of build. We're going to build out of some shapes. And that's kind of cool. I like it going like small, wide, and it's going really wide, so maybe we add a couple shapes to kind of like ground it in so it feels a little bit more gradual than just being sharp and cut off like that. Does need a dot though. Definitely a dot in the center. Okay. I kind of even just like it like that, to be honest. But maybe we need to add something else. Let's see. Let's add a couple other shapes. What does that do? What is happening now? I don't know. Maybe it needs something on the side. We'll kind of fill that in. I don't even know what we have here anymore. What is this? Some sort of like really fancy waffle maker that's already attached to you, which is something that, you know, another goal in life, really. This is a goal, like having a key to the city. I don't even know if a key to the city really opens anything. If it, you know, does it open everything in the city? Because that seems like way too much power for one person to have. But this is definitely a more achievable goal for me, which is to have a waffle maker that's attached to me. And I don't need it like physically attached like what we have here. But, you know, if I could like wear it like a necklace, or if they sell or develop and make waffle holsters, like waffle maker holsters, that would be great. Waffle holsters also sound great. I'm just babbling. You know, don't let my dreams get in the way of your dreams, and your dreams are to draw these weird things. So let's keep drawing some weird things. I am now going to move on to this hand, and now it's going from large shape, small shape, large shape. We're kind of building here. And I think I would like to make a claw for this guy. Let's give him a good old, like, 50s robot claw. Looking freaking sweet. But they do need, like, little bits right in the center, so it shows that it's, like, you know, pew, 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 pew. Kind of like, ching, 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 ching. This is the bolt that, like, allows it to ching, ching. Okay? And then we're going to add the little darkness around that, let that bolt really stand out. And pew, 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 pew. Going to give it a couple little edging, you know, some ruffling. I kept saying edging in the last video and stuff too, and I didn't really think about it, but, you know, giving it a little bit of like texture on the surface. Yeah, so it's got a couple little ridges. Oh my goodness, I added dots to our waffle maker and I didn't even say anything about it. But those are some extra dots there, not freckles. Waffle makers do not have freckles. Alright. And then, for the legs, well, I'm already committed. What the heck happened? What just happened to this leg line? Why is it so slanted? Well, I'm going to show you, because this one also slants, but in the opposite direction. Now we got these very slanty legs, but is it just one leg? I don't think so. I think we're going to give it a little edge in there. I'm not going to talk about what's happening here. I'm going to talk about these legs here. These legs are now nice and headed towards one center point. Is it perspective? No, it is not perspective, but I will add where these legs end, or at least these pants end, you know. We're gonna also kind of increase that. Just kind of give it a little bit of an edge, and let's kind of stripe them out. Maybe these are some special pants that just have stripes down at the bottom. I mean, we can invent fashion. We're inventing this whole creature, so, you know, maybe in this creature's time, this is what's fashionable. Add a couple little pockets. Look at these pants are shaping up to be real pants here. Cool. All right, well, we got those. Is that going to be the end of our legs? I think so. Why not? We'll give it a little bit of like an ankle. You know, when the ankles have like these little like kind of divots on them, that's where your little, you know, the round part of your foot is. I don't know. You know, where your ankle is attached. There's the bone, ankle, foot. It's got the little dot, right? And now we can just add some cool little shoes. He's got a little shoe over there. He's got a little shoe over here. Boy, these are some bad looking shoes. And not the good kind of bad. So let's add a little bit of edge down at the bottom. Not quite so high there, but a little edge on the bottom. And now we're just gonna fill this part in. He's got two fine looking little feet, you know? Nothing too fancy about them. Maybe we can get a little fancier though. Maybe we'll add some shoelaces. Look at that. Already fancier. He can tie his shoes, even with just this one hook and a waffle maker, which is skill on its own. And that's probably what got him the key to the city. Like, let's be honest. If I had a city, I'd be giving out keys willy-nilly, and if those keys do open everything in the city, then I probably wouldn't have a city for very long. So, you know, especially with a bunch of these creatures running around. This guy gets it, though. Anyways, let's keep moving. It looks like we pretty much have a creature here. You know, what are we gonna, like, add to this? Oh, well, since we were talking about it, maybe we'll give him a little waffle down here. And that's a pretty flat looking waffle. So let's give that waffle a little bit of an edge. And how about we let it rest in a nice little pile of syrup there. Doesn't have any butter, but, you know, he's trying to watch his butter consumption right now. I guess the syrup kind of, you know, went past that filter. But, you know, you gotta have some flavor, because otherwise you just have a plain waffle, which can be good, but without at least syrup or butter, cutting back on the butter, you know, what are you gonna do? This waffle iron does run on something. Does he have to plug it in, or is it plugged into himself, is my question. I think it's kind of plugged into him. So let's kind of bring a little cord, you know, and we'll kind of thicken that line out. And look at that. It's even got a little edge up there to show that it's catching some light. And let's kind of like add a little bit of sparking or something, you know. So it's not a really good cord, you know. There's a few sparks happening, but he is plugged in. He is completely plugged in here. Let's kind of ground that a little bit more to show that it's really plugged into his head. And that means we need to like get this little battery pack kind of piece going. So now we have a whole nother shape here. A whole nother shape attached to our shape, which is what this drawing is comprised of. A bunch of shapes. Got some waffles, some nice little shoes here, some pretty fly looking pants, a claw. We got the key to the city. We got this little dude just hanging up. I wonder if this guy had any influence on this guy getting this key. You know, two heads are better than one. And maybe it was through his genius that he helped create this automated waffle iron that brought waffles to the whole town. I don't know. We're developing a little bit of a narrative here, but I'll leave that up to everybody else. I am going to keep embellishing shapes. And now, the reason that I'm embellishing shapes is because I think we're just about done. We just have to add a little bit of color to kind of like round it out, right? I'm going to do a couple little dots on the outside here, so our paper doesn't look so clean, you know. There we go. Now it's kind of like grounded in there. Alright, let's move on to this. We got a nice pink prisma happening today. Even another, I love using the light colors because once again, it's just gonna show us a little bit of like difference between the white of the paper and some other like, you know, forms. We're gonna kind of flesh them out, kind of round them out a little bit. So let's see, let's start over in like the areas where we see some darks happening. There we go. That's really nice. That's also really nice. Alright. Once again, using this kind of like chisel tip on the end of the prisma. We're going to, there you go, kind of make a little bit dark in those eyes. This even feels a little less pink than it does red. Kind of looks a little pink, kind of looks a little red on this screen here. Let's see. There we go. Let's kind of go under this eye a little bit. We're not going to add any pink in this eye just because of the fact that, you know, he's already got some pink in that eye. We want this eye to kind of stand out. We do want to add a little bit on like the nostrils and like tip of the nose. And then in these edges, definitely, like that edge is going to be it. That edge. We're going to add a little bit on the edge here, a little bit on the edge here, a little bit of edge here, and then right there. And right there. Look how pretty. Okay. Add a little bit on this edge too. A little bit on that edge. What is a light source? Where is the light source? Who cares about a light source? Let's just make sure we get some nice edges on all these little pieces here. The key to the city doesn't need any, but maybe we'll embellish it with some other little, you know, dots or what have you at the end with this nice pink. So let's see. Add a little bit there, once again, kind of where you think some darkness would be. Definitely some darkness over here, kind of get under there. This guy, for his eyes, or at least this bigger eye, will definitely do it. Even this eye, maybe we could just make that one completely red. Why not? Why not? There are no rules. There are no rules. Let's kind of add a little bit over here, kind of bring that front line of like kind of little pimples or pustules like out a bit. And then same thing with these lips kind of being behind that other shape. We're going to give it a little bit of darkness. And now we're just going to add it along that edge and along this edge. Pretty. It's starting to come out. Looks a little dark over there, you know. The red is pretty intense here for this pink color. So we're gonna add it over on this side. Alrighty. And we're gonna add it over on this side too. Cool. Alright, we're just gonna make that all in shadow right there. And starting to get pretty cool. We're starting to see some pieces shape out. This looks a little strange. I want to say that it kind of cut a little bit too much. I'm going to cut like that a little bit more to kind of like move that out. Kind of like shape that out a little better. Okay, let's keep moving along. I'm going to shape behind there. And I want to shape under the nose as well. We're going to even let that connect right to there. I'm just going to leave a little bit of white on that side to kind of emphasize this area, especially where this eye is. Alright. Add a little bit on these scales and embellishment that are on the side of the head. And a little bit more up there. I think we've gotten as much red and different colors that we want in this section. Like, I think we've done it at this point up in this section. We've achieved all the edging. We've achieved all the colors. Let's start moving down into the body with it. And same thing. Let's follow where I had those initial darks with this new pink color. We're going to add some on the pectoral. Alright, and going to continue. Sorry, had a quick interruption. Nothing nefarious or anything going on here, but had to stop the video for a second. This fish was getting a little unruly, but I'm going to keep going. We're going to keep coloring a little bit using our chisel tip, and we're going to continue following these areas of the stomach here. And then same kind of thing, add a little bit on the edge, add a little bit on the edge. Maybe a few lines in here. A little bit on the nipple part, kind of defining where the nipple is. On our pectorals. And a little bit of line in there too where that shading is. There's a little bit of shading over here too, or a little bit of kind of linear shading. Keep adding a little bit. Maybe give it a little bit more texture with that nice pink color. And then, where are we going to move on to next? That's right, let's kind of move on over here. Let's kind of put that in complete darkness. Add a little bit here, add a little bit on the inner part of our claw. Now we have like nice little claw shading and everything going on there. And then what else do we want to add? Let's see. We have to touch the waffle maker, at least where it connects with the arm especially. Let's make that nice and dark all the way up until that little crease. Same thing with here, right where those arms connect into those armpits. We're going to make those nice and dark there. Alright, what are we going to add next? Maybe under the belt. Perfect. And then in between these legs. So it's going to be real dark right there. Going to be real dark right there. Not bad, not bad. Looking pretty cool. Maybe it needs a little bit on the other side too, to show that it is really like going all the way down there. Cool. And then what's going to be next? Maybe a little bit on the ankles. And then a little bit on the edge of this waffle. Looking cool, looking cool. And then the waffle maker itself. Beautiful. Maybe a little bit more right there. Wonderful. Alright. Well, our guy looks pretty good. I will say there is a little bit of a discrepancy, like, because of how the pink looks to me versus how the pink looks to you. I will say a lot of the areas still look pretty light, which is okay, but I would like to go and add some more. Now these, because they're all in pink, are definitely some freckles. So we're going to add some freckling into our character here. You know what? I didn't name the other character at all. I've just been calling the character them or him or it. What is this character's name? That does develop the narrative some more though too. I mean, we already started talking a little bit about narrative. Let's add a little bit more freckles in here. A little bit there. Now, because these are on the pants, they're dots. Definitely. So we're going to add a little bit of dotting down here. Now, what this is kind of doing is kind of like creating at least a little bit of like a transition between these two things, so it doesn't look like it's just like these pink areas, and then it goes right into these like stark whites. Let's kind of use these to kind of like, fluff it out a little bit. Make it look like it doesn't have such a hard defined edge, and it feels a little bit more cohesive in our drawing itself. And trust me, this is a pink color. I don't know if you guys are seeing it as pink. I'm looking over at my screen while I'm drawing this thing, and I'm like, wow, that thing looks really stark red. And I'm like, maybe it's the light in this room. Maybe my eyes are turning into, what would it be? Maybe I have pink eye, and that's why everything looks pink. I don't think that's how pink eye works, and in fact, I really doubt that it does work like that, but let's add a little bit down here. Now, waffles can definitely have freckles, so these are freckles. Those are dots, and then we have a lot of freckles going on, but we do need a few more in this nose, because that is very stark white. If you want to get rid of some of that stark whiteness, definitely freckles and freckles and freckles. Alright. So now we have like almost like a little bit of a stippling thing going on too. And it's looking a lot better. A lot of the sections I was kind of worried about, maybe a little bit over here with the regular freckles. Now we got some pink freckles going on too. But now, let's add a little bit of embellishment in the background. I know that I love to do like these little X's and crosses and things like that. This will also be where the key gets a little bit more, even more glamorous and beautiful and shining. But let's add a few little X's here and there. There we go. There we go. There we are. Let's add a little bit down here. Maybe a few more little speckles. Oh! Are these... Now I have dots, speckles, and freckles. So if they're in the background, they're not dots, they're not freckles. These are speckles. So speckles go in the background. The rest of everything is dots and freckles. And if you hear me say anything else, naming them anything else, don't pay attention to me, because they are either dots or they are freckles, or in the background, like these ones, are speckles. I think I called those ones dots, but those do count as dots because they are darker dots, okay? Those dots coincide with these dots. These speckles do not have anything to do with anything else. There's no comparison. Alright, well, we got our character here. He's nice and freckly all over. He's got some cool areas. He's got double heads. He's got the key to the city. He's got a claw. He got the key to the city for tying his shoes with a singular claw. 2 fingers, like 2 claw, like, what would they be called? I guess they're, like, they resemble fingers, but they're just claws. So with those 2 little claws, he tied these shoes. He has a waffle maker. He's got the key to the city. He's got a friend helping him out, doing everything. There are speckles in the background. We have everything going on for us in this picture. This character has everything going on for him, Fish. And yeah, really thank you for watching. I hope you don't mind. I just love to ramble. I love to talk. I'm talking to this fish most of the time, talking to myself. But I just love drawing. I hope you love drawing too. And if you watched my last episode, thank you so much. If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much. If you really do like it, please subscribe. And if you don't, I just appreciate you watching anyways. Thank you and have a great day.